Hi everyone. I want to explain a little bit about the brand new bonus that I have added to this course because I'm always looking for ways to engage you with the material and this work. And something I have noticed is many people purchase self-study courses. I'm a big course taker and I love online courses because I can go at my own pace. But the flip side of that is many people buy them and then forget, so they don't do them. So what I've done is create a bonus for you to compel you to do the work and do the exercises and complete the work inside this program, because that's where you're going to get the most benefit. So I've worked as an editor, a journalist, an author, a coach, a consultant. I've worked with agents, editors, and authors across the world: America, Canada, England, Europe, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. And story is the same everywhere. It is the same principles that sell stories and make books page turners, okay? And this revision and plotting work that you're going to go through is not just techniques for memoir. I've worked on fiction, and fiction is narrative. It's a made-up narrative, but it is a narrative. And I've been to many author masterclasses and workshops with best-selling blockbuster historical fiction authors. And what I like about studying from historical fiction authors is they are using the bones of true stories, experiences, and biographies to craft a really compelling narrative. And the thing with memoir and any kind of narrative is that whether it's a true story or it's a fiction, it needs to follow the principles of compelling narrative structure. And these are these pieces that involve plotting and sequencing and rearranging the order in which you lay things out. So this course is quite physical. The exercises that you'll be doing with your draft are going to involve moving things around and printing things out and putting them up on a pinboard, and sometimes using Post-its. And I would love you to take some photos as you are doing the exercises. And with the bonus course that I have for you, this is unlocked when you complete the Manuscript Finishing School lessons and modules and fill in the quiz. It is automatically unlocked. I've set it up so that when you answer the questions in the correct way, which you won't be able to do unless you've actually completed the course, it will be instantly delivered and opened up for you. And this includes a plotting masterclass that I've only previously had available inside my Art of Memoir full program. It is the foundational piece of what then became the Story Star Codes, and it is a mapping process that I've used to identify the most crucial and compelling points in a memoir, in a fiction. It is basically a plotting masterclass. I also have for you a Story Star Codes overview and a basic plots overview with examples and how the 7 basic plots apply to memoir. I give you examples and how you can adapt them to this other material. The purpose of this program is to get you clear on the tools and techniques that you have at your disposal to turn a relatively boring or bland draft into something that keeps the reader turning the pages. Now, I studied writing and editing at university. I did numerous editing courses, copy editing, proofreading. And what those courses lacked was that physical experience working on an actual manuscript. So I found that I could only go so far. I knew grammar, I knew the conventions of style. I edited magazines. I had to learn different style conventions and what a style guide was for different magazines. I edited newspaper copy. I was a freelance journalist. I was a freelance writer for publications across the world, and I had to submit my work according to certain guidelines. And all these tools and techniques I developed not just from academic degrees. If I could actually, to be completely honest, I think I've used about 5% of what I learnt in my 5 years at university, completing a Bachelor of Arts in Literature and then a graduate diploma in professional writing and editing. What I actually have used the most to become a successful author, to become twice published, internationally published, best-selling, and before that I was selling thousands of stories to major media and publications, and that was my livelihood. I made my living from writing. Most people don't realize that writing involves a lot of editing if you're going to be a professional writer. And so this is why I never had critiques. I never signed up for workshops. I never did that kind of work, because for 2 years in my postgraduate, we were workshopping in circles of 3 to 5 people our material, and it was with other people who had not been published, and we were just hearing their work and our work, and it was all blending, and we weren't getting any solid outcome and specific, tangible steps to bring that work forward and get it published. I clearly remember it was less than a year after finishing my second degree in professional writing and editing, I got a job on one of Australia's major circulating newspapers, the Herald Sun. Most people don't read the newspaper anymore, but at that time it was. And this is millions of readers every day. And I really wanted to get my first byline. I wanted to get my first story published. I was working as an editorial assistant. And the health editors, who had like a weekly column on health trials or health stories and new information about health and interviews with people who had discovered something, or it was all about health, they needed stories because they were extremely busy. So they said, if you want to submit something, we'll see if we can publish it, and that's your first byline. I was like, yep, I'm off to the races. And I interviewed a friend who had suffered from iron deficiency, and I interviewed some experts, and I put together a story about how to cure iron deficiency anemia. I did this in a week. And I just come from 2 years of studying writing and editing on a very theoretical level and memorizing M dashes and N dashes and what goes where and blah, blah, blah. But this was an actual publication that was going to publish my work. So I sent the story, the copy, to the editor, and she sat very near to me, and she called me over, and I went and sat with her, and in 5 minutes with her, I learned, as she just crossed things out, moved things around, whipped it into space. I could see what was going up the top, what needed to go in the middle, what was completely redundant, needed to be cut, it was repeating. And as she was doing this, I saw exactly how her brain worked and how these stories are edited. Now, she was very generous to me, giving me that 5 minutes, but that did not happen again. And I remembered exactly everything that she said, because this was honestly more than I had learnt in 2 years of theoretical experience. So what I'm saying to you here is, it is not until you have that draft, as terrible as it is, that you start to do these exercises, move things around, spot the gaps. Proofreading and copy editing, that is the final step on all of this, because you will change the words and the sentences anyway. And it is making it a compelling story. So a 110,000 word book, which I had published, my first book was 110,000 words. You need to know how to do these things on your own to bring it to a standard where an editor is going to see straight away that there is something in this story. You've pulled out the most important elements and you have made it a page-turning plot. So when you have completed, I suggest set yourself a deadline for this course, because what gets programmed and prioritized gets done. And work through the exercises methodically. You can listen to them more than once, download the material. The guides are yours to keep, so make sure you print them out. You have 2 years access to this program, so a month or 6 weeks to work through each of these steps is plenty. If you can't schedule a month or 6 weeks in the next 2 years, then this is not really for you. And I promise you that you will start to see your work and see stories in a whole new light at the end of it. And you'll also get that exclusive bonus, which has material that is actually not available anywhere else. I've taken it down, it's no longer for sale. You will get the Map Your Memoir Masterclass. You will get the Story Star Codes overview and the 7 best-selling plots material, and a few extras if I choose to pop them in as well, because I really want to reward you for taking action, because it's when you take action and you actually give things a go, that's where the knowledge and the understanding and the improvements really start to shift. So I'd love to know how it goes for you. This is another reason that I have put that exclusive bonus there, because again, to be transparent, I love reading your feedback. I want to know that my work is impacting you, and I want to know what you've done with your draft with this material. You may see references to submitting your synopsis for review. That is not available in this self-study course. I wanted this review program so that there was a way for people, whether they're writing a memoir or a narrative of any other kind, even a fiction, to benefit from these really helpful time savings patterns, techniques and tools that I've developed from a lifetime of writing for publication, not just books, and use them in your own creative practice and professional career. So if you see an invitation to submit your synopsis for review, that is not available in this self-study course, but I will be reading your feedback inside the review quiz, and I really look forward to it. So please do the exercises, take photos, share with me how you go, share with me your insights, because that'll help me to become a better teacher and make it better and better for you. So I can't wait to hear from you, and please enjoy the creative process. It's really fun. This is when it gets really fun. I like to think of that saying, this is when you're carving into the marble. You've got the block down and you're really, really starting to see the art come through. So take photos, keep track of what you've done, set yourself a deadline, and I can't wait to read your submission quiz at the end of this course.